Why, hello. Talking about going impromptu. So, we're going to have a fun topic that we're going to end up talking. I had a video planned for this week, but I kicked it over for next week. So, you're going to have to wait until next week for Thundercats 101. But this week we had a special event that's going on. I believe we have a few days left of the entire Omnibus reprint pull that Nearmint Conditions is having over that way. And if you don't know what that is, that's when he ends up taking this list, sending it over to Marvel as the top 20, I think he's going with, the top 20 books to go over with it. This has pretty successful to be able to do throughout the entire month, or not throughout the entire series so far. Last year he did it, and I think like over half of it so far has been reprinted or announced to be reprinted. So this is going to be something that get a book that you want to get reprinted. This is going to be your prime chance. Talking about that, if you are shopping for these books or anything like that, we can end up going to organicpricebooks.com, where you can use the discount code of Fifth of Jack to save $2 off. Or if you have 4 or more books, you can use the code Jacket Together to save 5% off your entire order instead. Orders of $30 or more will end up getting free media mail shipping. So that way you end up seeing how bomb-proof that OPB ends up sending it. All right. So with that covered, I'm not expecting too big of a turnout for this, but like I said, this is an impromptu thing. This is something I want to end up getting over. This was important enough that I ended up kicking this week's video over until next week. So if you're looking forward to it, we're having Thundercats 101 dropping today, but instead it's going to be dropping next Wednesday. So we'll talk about the event of the moment. We are going to end up going over to Nearmint Conditions poll that they end up having. This is a reprint poll. We're going to be posting this. This is going to be going along. And these are going to be the books that we're looking forward to it. And if this is something that you're interested into, I'll have a link down in the description about what that's going to end up being. And I'll also have a link over to the original poll where he ends up breaking down with his cast of Taylor and Crushing Crisis of breaking down what the books are and different things about that. They go really in depth with the books, so that's going to be a good way to be able to help you out. I know OmniDog has a way that he ended up showing, doing the exact same thing I have that I'm going to be doing with this, but I just ended up wanting to end up going the extra mile and actually doing it ourselves. So with that said, let's slide it over into the view of that. Present. Screen share. And we'll slide over to the Omnibus announcement reader. All right. So we'll go back over to the top. As you can see, breaking news, 2025 Marvel Omnibus reprint poll. And he has a little minties. It's finally here. The annual time for the poll. Shell out dollars for the instead of paying the out of print price. You can end up trying to hope for a reprint where it brings it right back down to the entire thing. There's 3 guidelines that we have to follow. This is only Marvel. I believe he also does this with DC. He doesn't have as good a relationship like he does with Marvel, where he can end up sending this over and actually getting more use. But it's Omar, so it might end up having a better chance of going over it than what like myself sends up over there suggesting to get reprint by DC. But I digress. Let's get back on topic. We get to select 5 books. That's right, 5 books. The first book being the most wanted. You may need to scroll to make your selection, so that's fine. This is where you put your email. Obviously, after I finish this over and send it out, I'm going to put in my email into it. But now we got a choice of books that we come over there. We got 5 different choices that we can go with. We're going to go right through. I have Omnibus. So what I'm going to end up doing with my votes is I'm going to end up trying to wrap up my collection and get the books that I want to add to it and stuff that I'm going to be looking over to it. Now, this list is pretty big, so obviously picking 5 books out of the bunch it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I have to make sure I get the books that I absolutely want to get reprinted. So I have the all new Wolverine. I have that book. Volume 1, Volume 3. That's a good book. Astonishing X-Men, but I already have it. Avengers. I'm not into that train. Brubaker Omnibus. This would be a good one to get over with it, but we finished collecting that. And that's what I'm going to have represent that. The Carnage Omnibus we have, luckily. Cosmic Ghost Rider, we got that. Charles Soule's Daredevil. All right, this is going to be the first book that I'm going to end up wanting. I am going to put this at number 2 for me because this is one book that I want and I really do want, but I feel like it's going to be a solid pickup that we're going on with it. Obviously, we're trying to collect the Daredevil from Frank Miller on and calling it good. Deadpool, I don't want to be jumping into another series. Book of Doom. This is a good example. I think I saw a copy of that going for $400, which is crazy. These out of print prices get nuts. Fantastic Four. I only have Hickman's run, so I'm not going to be so worried about that right now. Gwenpool, I'm interested in it, but I'm going to keep it at 5. Because that's going to kind of go a little bit crazy too now. But that might not stay. That's one of those that's done the tweeners about it. Plus, it doesn't help out my collection, really. Man Thing we already have. Marvel Cosmic. Omnibus Now. Chris Claremont. Moon Knight. Really? Jen McKay's already out of print? I didn't realize that. New Mutants, which we got. New X-Men. Okay. We found something that's going to take place up there. Gwenpool. So we're going to come back up here and see if that got deselected. I think it did. It did not. Okay. So if you're making changes, you have to come back up to the topic and deselect it off that list. Daredevils 2. So we got a 2 and a 5 figured out. So we need to get to 1, 2, and 3. So we're going right back down to where we're at. Garth Ennis, Punisher Max, Volume 2. We have Volume 1, so I want to wrap that up. So we're going to put that at 4. Runaways. That's another one I really, really want. If I have extra space, I'll put that on there. But what we have is a 1 and a 3 left. So we got to make sure we remember that. I don't think we're going to have room to be able to go with the extra ones that we have. Spider-Man's interesting. But I have a feeling that we're going to be needed to add some X-Men over here, which I think is going to end up making it onto the poll. But these are going to be books that you're most interested in getting. Really? Ultimates by Millar? That seems like that shouldn't be out of print since everyone else has a copy of that. Another one would be War of Kings, the Aftermath, and the Prelude, which I would need, and War of the Realms, which you need for doing the entire Annihilation storyline. The X, or Weapon X, the Return, I need that as well. Wolverine and X-Men. Millar. So this is what we're going to end up doing is we're going to select this as the X-Men by Claremont and Lee as number 1. We have Volume 2, and we're waiting for this one. This is one that I didn't end up picking up in time for it. So I guess this is going to be a little bit more X-heavy that comes with it. All right, Extreme, not interested in that. And then we're going to come back up. We're going to look over here at this list. I believe there was an X-Men. Or, oh, maybe if I go Uncanny. There we go. Uncanny Voodoo. We're going to put this as 1, and then we're going to go right back down to here and put that as, oh, sneak. That as 3. Now this begs the question, would we rather have the new X-Men or one of these other X-Men storylines? Because we're trying to collect the main storylines. So we have Apocalypse, so that the 12 Omnibus, the Age of Apocalypse, that's an interesting story. Infernal Prologue. You know what? I heard about the stories of this, of the Age of Apocalypse, and this is where I believe Wolverine ends up getting the hand, or the special hand that comes over with it. Well, special action that happens to the hand. So I'm going to go with that over what we had for the new X-Men. So we're going to go back up top. You select the new X-Men. And that's what we're going to go with. All these other stories, I think, is going to be good. If I could find it. Marvel do. You select it. So this is going to be the opportunity to make sure that we end up having it right. So another one I would be interested into is this Acts of Vengeance, where they end up switching villains against the heroes. So that's something I'll be interested into. Maybe next year's pull that end up making the cut for it. But right now, I really want to try getting the rest of the X-Men that's going on with the run that we have. We have all this amazing Spider-Man goodness that's going over there. We have Astonishing X-Men. So we don't have to worry about that. Like I said, I'm not going to go super hard into Avengers. I already have the Hickman Avengers, the new Avengers, and the Savage Avengers. So I think I'm pretty well set right now for the Avengers wise. Connor's Omnibus, if I didn't have it, I would have wanted to get that on the pull. Cosmic Ghost Rider, I haven't read it. Brubaker's Daredevil, that's another one that seems like it was just got printed. Daredevil, or his Captain America is another one I would think about adding it on there. But I think that's what I'm going to end up rolling with for my selection of that. Just checking up, making sure. Hickman, Fantastic. Fantastic Four by Fraction. Golden Age. We're staying away from new Golden Age. We made the dip into that with Spider-Man, but I'm having a hard time trying to go through it. I know Taylor Talks Comics loves the Golden Age. And so does Jess to a certain degree, but it's just not my cup of tea. It's just a different type of reading that you come over with it. I want to say I'm a modern reader, but I want to stay over with not so hokiness that comes over with it. Monsters, I'm not a monster person. I still can't believe Moon Knight by Jeff McKay is an out-of-print book. That's just nuts. Runaways would be another one I would be thinking about. That's going to be another one possibly for next year. That's going to be on the list that I'm hopefully will get a reprint. Surfer. Spider-Man. So the big thing about Spider-Man versus Venom Omnibus, that's the prequel that you can go over to the Venomulous Volume 1. That's the one you can put in front of that. Or if you ended up picking up the Complete Black Costume Saga, that's pretty much what replaced that into the Spider-Man run. So there's going to be a couple different areas that you can end up going with that. Don't do Star Wars. Don't want to be opening that. Superior Foes of Spider-Man, that's another one I'll be interested in too. That's going to be a smaller book as well. Timely's greatest. So that means Timely was before they ended up becoming Marvel. Uncanny Avengers. Ultimates by Moar. That got that cheap from one of the offshoots. You can't remember if it was Hamilton Books or Book Outlet. That was during Shipping Wars. Weapon X Return. So we see a few books that we're going to end up doing next year. I am pretty happy with this list. And so at number 1, we have the Uncanny X-Men Volume 4. Number 2, we have Souls Daredevil. And then number 3, we have, what did we select as 3? Chris Claremont and Jim Lee's X-Men Volume 1. And then 4, we ended up going with Punisher Max by Garth Ennis, Volume 2. So we'll wrap up that line. And then at number 5, what did we put as 5? Oh, X-Men, the Age of Apocalypse was number 5. So we have a heavy X-Men list that's this year, but that's okay because that's what we're going to end up rocking with. So that's how I'm going to end up voting. That's how I would strongly suggest if you're interested in doing any of these collected editions, go over to that poll. Like I'll put a link down in the description down below to the poll itself and to Omar's videos, just in case you need to have more of a background. Heads up, that video is going to be a little bit longer because they end up breaking it a lot more down with Crushing Crisis, and Taylor Talks Comics was also with him. So it's going to be like a 2.5-hour video or something like that, but they're giving you a lot more details, and that's going to be a go way to be able to see it. This is also part of the reason why I say don't pay out of print prices for a book, because it could be eventually, again, a reprint, especially if you're Marvel. DC is getting better for you, but it's a 50-50 shot. Indie is hit or miss if that's going to end up happening. And if you're interested in picking up any of these books, you could go over to organicpricebooks.com, where you can use the discount code of 5th of Jack to save $2 off. Or if you have 4 or more books, you can use the discount code Jacket Together to save 5% off your entire order instead. So it's a good way to help out the channel. It helps you out with a nice little discount. Then the little help goes over to the channel where we can end up putting it in for hauls and other collections that we end up picking up. So since we got this entire impromptu stream, I know I could have filmed and edited real quick, but I wanted to make sure I got this out over to you. And it's kind of a last minute decision to be able to flip-flop content. So thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.